Disney. Also, Disney. Alright, fine. One more time since apparently no one is listening. If you want this to take place in 1986, just say 1986. When I watch this in 2055, I don't want to be wondering why no one is talking about the pandemic or wearing masks. Just set the flashbacks at a set time, you mealy-mouthed title cowards.
One day, that big, beautiful, womb-wrecking head of yours is going to dream up fantastic things.
I mean, honestly, the wrecking is probably more vaginal or perineum related. So if you're going to casually alert your child to the genital destruction they've caused, let's be anatomically clear, okay?
And do you know what MODOK stands for?
I do. Mental organism designed only for killing, which is technically M.O.D.O.K. So let's start there. But also, since, as my hard G GIF brethren have pointed out, the letters absolutely must match the words they stand for, I once again have to point out that the only starts with a hard O sound. So technically, you should be called M.O.D.O.K, and since I am to please, M.O.D.O.K it is. Purposely taunting the bad guy who has a head laser.
After my AIM soldiers destroy the stock exchange and topple the economy,
Villain exposits plan to his foe instead of killing them when he has the chance cliché. And yes, it's probably intentional, but even intentional sins are still a cliché.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it.
are you binge watching the Great British Bake Off in your helmet while we fight?
I mean, the Iron Chef joke was right there. Also, not trying to start up the who did it first debate, but Lego Batman totally did this type of hero-villain shtick first.
No, I'm savoring the Great British Bake Off, making it last. No more than 2 episodes a day. 3 tops.
Tantric binge watching.
And Timber wins with his ginger tart.
Spoiler sports.
AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics.
In that case, I believe you mean AIM.
Who wants to touch me while I touch the boot?
Requesting a menage a butt in the workplace without explicit consent.
You're at the end of all my videos.
But if you were streaming live, why does your play bar have an end length listed?
Magic? Lou, why can't you just pick a normal teenage boy theme?
Abracadabra shaming.
Your mother's about to volunteer to sleep on the couch so I can spend the night in my marital bed with Iron Man's boot!
Knocking boots.
$8 million on the hover bikes, $20 million on the laser cannon.
Show steals the concept of our What's the Damage video series without even giving us attribution.
I'm sorry. I thought this coffee was for everyone.
Might be the funniest moment in the episode. With that being said, this might be the funniest moment in the episode? Also, maybe, just maybe, M.O.D.O.K's head laser cauterized the wound, but do these guys feel pain? Or are they like me perusing the YouTube comments and just so used to the constant torture that it barely registers anymore?
I have a very simple plan to save AIM. I'm going to rob Fort Knox.
If this show includes a scene with M.O.D.O.K's nude body on a bed painted in gold, I'm taking all the sins back. Or adding them. I'll make up my mind once I see.
AIM is finished.
Thing AOL said in the early 2000s somehow makes it into this episode.
No area is more sacred than MODOK's personal space. Prepare to suck saw!
Based on the box office, I'm pretty sure Spiral has the monopoly on saw sucking.
I still don't have a bar mitzvah suit. I'm looking for the right fabric. Do you mind if I have a feel real quick?
Of the same material? You were literally just touching it.
Dad, one of your dumbasses spilled acid all over my boyfriend.
I feel like this show is basically a bunch of quick jokes that are on to the next joke before you have time to realize that the last joke probably wasn't funny. I'm not saying that style of comedy can't be fun. I'm just saying you probably now owe us royalties.
Okay, you got me. I'm a huge fan.
But since we find out later that Austin bought this toy to get on M.O.D.O.K's good side, how did he know M.O.D.O.K would look in the drawer? What if he wasn't a drawer peeper? What was Austin's plan at that point?
Unaware that you were facing off on the Phrenic pommel horse with the Gabby Douglas of mental gymnastics.
Using Gabby Douglas instead of Simone Biles as your gymnast metaphor. Look, Gabby's great, but Simone does things that are so impossible and iconic that she literally has 4 different gymnastic moves named after her. And I'm even using literally in that sentence as language God intended.
What is all of this?
A lot of things that Grumble would never be able to get set up in a day's time at AIM. By golly, I believe it is.
This is Golean 7 grain.
7 grains is too many grains for one cereal.
M.O.D.O.K would kill it at TVSins.
What happened to my torture chamber?
Grumble had to change to a daycare.
So it's basically the same then? Birder murder. That birder was someone's dirter and now it's been murdered.
When I'm done, you won't even miss that eyesore.
I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because, well, I don't want to. But that paint should have disintegrated completely, and even if it didn't, the dude was holding it off to his right, so it would just have sprayed directly on the back wall, and even if it did spray evenly across where the human wasn't there anymore. Look, I don't have time to draw a diagram, but I feel good sending it, so that outline is a lie. Cut, print, check the send gate, moving on.
Well, you vaporized an outside contractor. That's your first strike.
M.O.D.O.K also just threatened the life of his boss when he said,
I want to chemically castrate Austin.
so he's got to have at least 2 strikes, right?
I cannot believe they laid us all off.
Speaking of being laid off, why are you still in your uniforms? Those would be Grumble-owned now.
We're doing a mine heist, baby.
Christopher Nolan's M.O.D.O.K. Even if they didn't spot him, do they not clean the room up at night? Why would they just leave this forest creature orgy in the middle of the room?
I, M.O.D.O.K, reverse-engineered PIM particles.
See? He mentioned PIM particles. It's a Marvel thing, so the show is super cool now. Change your pantaloons, Marvel nerds. You have soiled them.
Trespassing on company grounds.
In fact, no. M.O.D.O.K hasn't been fired.
Now, let's get small.
Post-coital pep talks.
This'll just take a moment.
I mean, you should be correct, but it turns out the show needs to have a M.O.D.O.K takes over his wife's body to build relational tension moment before you can complete the paperwork. So you just sign super slow and it will all be all right.
I'm so sorry. I seem to have lost control of my body.
So M.O.D.O.K can now use this brain control device to replicate perfect martial arts and gymnastic techniques. Even though there's no indication that Jodie's body has been trained for any of this, that's quite an upgrade.
You want me to play ball? Here, the tablet you're so horny for.
This works.
M.O.D.O.K, M.O.D.O.K.
I haven't seen the rest of the series, but I feel very comfortable calling this premature celebration.
I mean, I want a divorce.
I don't know if I should add a sin for bringing divorce into my superhero show or commend it. I also don't know if I'm all right with how emotional this makes me, because I'm not crying over Robot Chicken M.O.D.O.K. I'm not. You can't make me. Just look away. I know Mobro is going through some stuff here, but can we find out why this couple behind him is just sitting silently staring at the wall together? Are they okay? Can someone check for a pulse? Blink twice if you can hear me, TVSins. Just blink twice.
I'm not kidding, it's like an orange on a toothpick.
Pushing the boundaries of science, torture, and advanced weaponry.
For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead.
Baby steps, Monica.
Baby steps. Baby steps. Baby steps through the office.
They called me Big Head.
He'll be crying himself to sleep tonight on his huge pillow.
'Tis but a scratch.
I'm recommending a 3-day forced sabbatical. Suspension.
You've got to be shitting me.
No, I'm terminating your employment. I need your badge.
Well, I need you to stop sweating through your shirts and grossing everybody out.
I'll call out your name during sex instead of mine.
I think about f***ing a lot.